Talking about sexual assault is hard, knowing that it could cause a negative impact on mental health. This how-to video will provide examples on how to be an empathetic listener and a breakdown on what to do if someone comes out to you about their experience.
You cannot do anything to another person in a physical or sexual form without their consent, or it becomes assault or harassment. Sexual assault is anything done in a sexual form without receiving the individual's permission first. And so that is an all-encompassing definition. So that includes touching in physical forms or sexual forms, inserting anything into another person's body, showing somebody anything that is sexual without getting their explicit consent. I really want to be clear about that. So explicit consent means that you have heard the person said, yes, or I want to do this specific thing. Or them saying, you know what, yes, I want to do this thing and this additional thing. For example, if someone says, you know what, it is okay for you to hug me, and then someone goes in for a hug and tries to give them a kiss, that is not okay. If you are noticing any drastic changes that a person is experiencing outside of their normal character, they could be signs for them having had sexual assault. If you see the signs, say we are talking to someone who is your friend, I would say kind of slowly bridging the topic by asking about what you see.
Never assume that someone's gender or sexual orientation prevents them from experiencing sexual assault. Many have experienced sexual assault, not just women.
So often from a clinical perspective, hurt people generally harm others. What I mean by that, when it comes to individuals who are sexual perpetrators, often we see that they have themselves experienced a sexual trauma at some point in their lives, and it had gone unaddressed or unprocessed. The very first thing that I think is super important that everyone does is validate the individual's story. Their story is true, and that is absolutely it. In how you respond, make sure your statements are very clear that it was not their fault, the harm that was done against them is something that was harmful, and that it was not okay. If at any time we are noticing signs and we feel like, you know what, this may be an emergent situation, then I would say, I would encourage you to be that person to kind of speak out to someone who could help. Evaluate your support system, and if you have trustworthy adults in your support system, take advantage of that. On another level, you can talk to a school counselor. You can talk to a licensed clinician, a therapist. You can talk to a social worker. You can talk to your doctor. You can talk to a police officer, a firefighter. There are sexual assault hotlines. You can go to your local hospital and usually be able to get connected with a social worker there at the local hospital, or primary care physician, or urgent care. If you are in a school setting, either on a high school or college campus, you may go to the school counselor and or the nurse, and all those individuals will be able to provide direct care for you. If an individual has been sexually assaulted, the school is responsible for having, number one, individuals in place to respond to that incident and be able to address the manner in a legal way, in a professional way, and in a healthy way to the student who was harmed. Unfortunately, we do know that when individuals are under the influence, that is generally when the most types of sexual harassment and sexual assault occurs, unfortunately. And so, number one, for you all, I just think that it is good for you all to know that, hey, when individuals participate in these substances, in these environments, this is likely to occur. So for yourself, I think it's really good to think about, number one, is this something that I feel like I should be engaging in? Number two, in the individuals that I'm going to surround myself with, how can I ensure that my friends are making some really wise decisions and smart decisions? Sometimes it is necessary for students, especially teenagers, to see another teenager saying, hey, let's talk about this. Let's get a clear understanding about this. And some people are even more encouraged when they see their peers doing it. If you were a person who you feel like, this is something that is important to me that I think, needs to be spoken out about, I would encourage you to say, hey, friends or people in my community, this is something that's important to me, and this is why. Would you come alongside me, and can we put together advocacy efforts for this injustice?
We will cry with you.
We will cry with you.
You are never alone.
You are never alone.
We are like you.
We are like you.
We got your back.
We got your back.
Let's all stand together.